Express my indebtedness to the University Law College, a constituent college of the Bhubaneswar University. The esteemed dais formed by for this program. Of course, the first and foremost name I pronounce is Dr. Professor Shobita Acharya, Vice Chancellor of Bhubaneswar University. Dr. Shukanta Kumar Nanda, the Principal of University Law College, Professor Dr. Jadek Poti, Dr. S.M. Moldik, Senior Faculty, and Mr. Dr. P.K. Swine, and many more who are in the auditorium. I was with rapt attention hearing what Professor Poti was saying about the society, changing society and law. All of us, as a citizen of India, as a citizen of the global society, in the midst of change. And change sometimes is so cataclysmic, sometimes we cannot grasp where the change will lead us to what destination in the future. These are always true for all the societies in all the times. It is not new, but changes are to be noticed, changes are to be marked, because to design a peaceful society. And the very foundational questions that always asked to a law student. I was also a student of Calcutta University Law College. That was also a constituent college of the Calcutta University. What is law? And why we do require law? These are two questions all the time. Whatever jurisprudence you study, that you have to ask yourself these two fundamental questions. And there is difference of opinions regarding in respect of the definition of the law, purpose of the law, and why you do need the law. But one interesting comment made by the political scientist Jefferson, who became later years the president of USA. He was one of the authors of the Federalist Papers, those who are studying the American Constitution laws. You must know this is a very interesting study in the form of papers written on those who are published, because those are most of the addresses made during the conferences by which the American Constitution was compiled. Jefferson's is called the 77 Federal Papers, made a very interesting comment that I share with you. He said the first and foremost inference the state draws, that it exists to rule over its people, not citizens, its people. There is one interesting placard is there. Law is not law if it violates the principle of eternal justice. So do you believe there is any concept of eternal justice in us? This is very difficult to accept it. Otherwise, the very foundational stone of the law we cannot look at. Jefferson, in this context, made a very interesting comment, says that people are prone to be animal. The word is just prone to be the animal. And with the civilization progress, these animals learn to be the better animal and learn to find out the rules to rule themselves so that they do not harm others. But still it is a struggle that continues. Civilization grows and we find that some things happen in our society and we still do not know how this can happen by a human being, Homo sapiens. It should not have happened, but it has happened. And that is the ground on which the concept of law developed. How to control the society to be a better and livable society. Living is the most important thing, because under the umbrella of living, we can only visualize the existence of the human rights. Otherwise, if we cannot have the idea of living, we cannot honor, we cannot have the human rights. If you go back to the French Revolution, we all know there was a revolution for the ordinary citizen, the plebs' right, but we do not know what happened to the first French Revolution. It collapsed because of the leadership become autocratic, who wanted to establish the democracy by removing or throwing this royal rule. So then again it came. Napoleon, that great hero in the French history, become such an autocrat that all the time he's referred now to an antithesis to democracy. We have accepted democracy as a form of better state. But democracy is such a complex and experimental form of governance that it depends on so many factors, and it is factored by so many other human issues, including the property is one of the important issues. A powerful man or a rich can influence the democratic governance. And we are experiencing in our Indian societies how democracy sometimes greatly fails us. So all the issues is, as Professor Proti used a very important language, that law is nothing but the language of the powers. But at the same time, those who are believe in democracy, we think it is our duty, it is our right to oppose whatever the draconian and undemocratic try to hold their hood high so that they cannot, that the power remains of the people. Our constitution starts, the preamble starts with, we the people of India confer ourselves to the constitution. So we created the constitution through the Constituent Assembly, through the debates, through taking into the aspiration of the people what they want to be as a nation. So all the issues are there. Professor Poti was referring to the changing society as a very good author by Friedman. On the similar title, there is another book written by Lord Denny, Society and the Changing Law. Two contrasting views. I request you, these are the small books, not very big volumes. You read these two books side by side. Then you will understand we live in a democracy to differ from each other. Because all the sides, all the shades of truth must be unfolded so that we can really search the truth for the betterment of society and, of course, foremost is the interest of people. People as a constituent of the democracy cannot be also defined by very simple and linear words. I'll just give you an example of the difference between the two scholars. Friedman says, as also this Justice Krishna says, that law has to change when the society ever changing. And tell us why this week will be remembered in the history of our legal history, this week particularly. Our parliament has taken a very bold stand. The time-tested 3 laws are going to be replaced and they have been referred to the select committee. And 118th Law Commission of India was referred to read and rewrite the Evidence Act of India, Indian Evidence Act. What was the report in 2002 report you can go through? This says we are not in a position to rewrite that act because we need the draftsman, a person who drafted the Evidence Act. But we have drafted it now. Bharatiya Shakho Ain. I think all of you as a PDF are available in that. On the verge of my retirement, I think the apprehension that was expressed by the Law Commission of India and the person or group of persons who drafted this Indian Evidence Act or Bharatiya Shakho Ain, their text to be tested in the coming time, and there is a big challenge. So what was Friedman was saying, the change of law, when it takes place, it not only opens up it's a dynamic part, but opens up the new problems in the jurisprudence. And Lord Denning brought into this spectrum another element called the morality. He made an ultimate statement. You should also recognize that it was the last years of his life. He says, no justice can be done by a judge unless he is a true Christian. It is very difficult because he was a devout Christian in his ideas. But this statement was not taken very seriously by our jurists, taken as a personal statement. Why? Because another part, another shade of the democracy is diversity of ideas. An Indian constitution uniquely recognizes that idea of diversity. Recognize that every person is at liberty to believe his faith and customs and tradition. Our faith are so diverse, our customs are so diverse, our traditions are so diverse. In this context, I will not take much time, I know it's very hot inside. That we always talk about the rule of law. As a judge, I held court in Arunachal Pradesh. It's a tribal state, hilly and beautiful Himalayan range can be seen from its capital. I was holding the court as a judge of the High Court, Guwahati High Court. One day we are just reviewing why the warrants are not being executed by the police in certain areas. So I called the Commissioner of Police of that area, what is happening there? He told me, sir, don't worry. Because these people will come to the police station. We are not go with the warrant to arrest them. There is a small tribal group in Arunachal Pradesh called Adi, A-D-I, Adi. Their tradition is that when a complaint is lodged in the police station, all the villagers will come with that person so that the person surrendered before the police, surrendered before the process of law. We call them tribals. We have to, in that way, we have to be savaging ourselves to be tribal so that we honor the rule of law. And as Jefferson is saying, the why do people are prone to violate the law. And we are modern and we call them tribals. We have to think. Every person has a responsibility to be alert how to maintain the rule of law. One of my cousin's sisters, she was very little. In the meantime, I became the judge, so visited us in my family. And she heard that I have become already a judge of a high court. Just casually, I asked her. She was studying in the Standard 3. Can you imagine that Standard 3, she is a Canadian citizen, about 5+ age. I asked, what is a judge? Just I was comparing how we are growing up in our society. Without a blame, she replies, the person who punish those who do the wrongs. This is the preliminary things are introduced in the curriculum in the schools. That is why you will see the cases of the traffic violations, cases of the petty offense are very few in this society. Because the moment someone goes to violate it, the other people say, don't do this. Please, don't do this. And we are scared. We have to examine this societal process. Why we are scared to say someone, you are violating the law, you should not do that. Because perhaps this person doesn't respect the law, they become consolidated, they become strong. This is a major danger for us. The legal entities are taking over the control of the society. And why this is happening? As a law student, you must examine, you must test, and you must question the process that what can be done. Law is not always the answer. But the collective social conscience sometimes takes place of the law because their sense of better good for the people is stronger than law. I have come from an unknown territory, but most of you, I believe not a single one just traveled to the northeast part of the country. I have seen the people are law-abiding. I have seen the insurgency, that they are declaring war against the state, and the reasons also I have come to know. Underdevelopment. And the greatest concern in 1946 in November, if I am correct, my memory is 12th November, that was the third day of the Constituent Assembly's proceeding. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel stood up. On the first day, Jawaharlal Nehru made the introduction why we need a constitution, what is the object and powers of the constitution. He stood up at this time, the idea of the principle of state policy had come up. Because that group boys are doing very good work before the proceedings started. He stood up and said, there was a clause in all these directive principles that the state shall take all sorts of policy to minimizing the gap between the poor and the rich. Because the threat comes from those persons who doesn't have anything. They always struggle for their physical existence. And they do not have that sensibility to honor the law. He stood for only one purpose. Can this provision be taken out of the chapter 4 to chapter 3? What is chapter 3 now in the fundamental rights? Of course, you know that by this time that was not accepted. But the Vallabhbhai Patel was a great leader, he is a great foreseer. And that is perhaps that he was seeing this time when ours 58% of the resources are in the hand of 2% of citizens. 58% of the national resources are under the control of the 2% of the citizens. And 82% of resources are under control of the 10% of the citizen. And 18% are for those persons, those who are living in the margin. So you can just assess the situation. There can be threat to the constitution, there can be threat to the rule of law, there is a real bed of coming of the insurgency. So as a young citizen, you must also think of this thing, that how the constitutional process can be emboldened to address these issues. It cannot be left without any concern. I find this Orissa is comparatively a peaceful state. There were two reasons. There is a very strong belonging to the state. This is my Orissa, is my state. And you start with the state song with Bande Utkala Janani. Utkala Janani is a construct what you emotionally belong to as the children of heart. This is an integrated, peaceful process because of your strong social movement, people like this Madhusudan Das and these people started a social movement, education and other things. You understand your responsibility of the citizen. But sometimes this is not enough. The process of questioning the status quo every day, I strongly believe, strengthens the democracy. And changing the legal semantics sometimes becomes so theatrical. People start non-believing in our process of law. So your people can take our social journey as our forefathers through the constitution and visions to that destination. And I strongly believe our young generation is getting prepared to take this challenge of the future. Thank you all.